Life is precious. I think we would all agree. But often we find that we take the very things that we do every day in life for granted until something happens in a blink of an eye. Hello, I'm Tom Russo, and this is In a Blink of an Eye, where we discuss stories from ordinary people whose lives are changed in an instant and how they overcome through faith, courage, and determination. Join me on this podcast for uplifting stories of how people face various challenges and learn to not only survive, but thrive. In a Blink of an Eye is sponsored by TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Discover, connect, and collect. That's TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing to you Mr. JT Thomas. And full transparency, JT and I were old high school classmates. He's actually a year younger than me, but we both went to Clear Creek High School, and I am honored. He is one of the most honest, hardworking, straightforward, faith-filled men that I've ever known, and I'm just glad that we had a little time this Sunday morning to put together. JT, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tom. Nice to be here, buddy. Appreciate you having me. Always
Absolutely.
a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk with you, man.
Oh man, I am so stoked this morning to get to talk to you because you have such a cool story, and I can't wait to dive into it. But I want to toss it to you and kind of tell me a little bit about your background, and so our listeners can know kind of where you grew up and your road pre-Blink.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man. Let's do it. I was born in Beaumont, Texas. My parents are from small towns right outside of Beaumont. My dad's a Army veteran. My mom's a lifelong student from TSU and a student of life. And definitely my favorite person, man, molded me into the man I am today, and I'm so proud of her. We moved from the Beaumont area probably when I was 2, maybe 3 years old.
Young.
Been in Houston ever since, so I like to, I'm a Houstonian man to the heart. Um, Literally, I grew up on both sides of the city. My parents divorced. My dad lived on the north side. My mom lived on the south side. So I would spend 9 months out of South Park, then 3 months out of Fifth Ward. And so I got the best of both worlds when it comes to being a Houstonian.
Right.
And about right 8th grade, we moved out to the Clear Lake area. After mom graduated college, was afforded a better opportunity, a better job, and a little bit more money. And her thing was always to make sure that we had, and she provided, and wanted to live one of the best finer things in life, and not necessarily chasing money, but she always wanted her kids to be well off and doing well. So we took the opportunity, moved out to Clear Lake. So I ended up at Webster, and in 8th grade.
I'm a graduate of Webster Junior High as well, and it's no longer there anymore, as I understand.
Go Cougars. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's no longer there, is it?
Something else. Right. It's something else. I drove by there the other day, man, to get some pupusas at this good pupusa spot. But ended up out in this area, man, and this is kind of where I made my bones, is growing into a young man. And to be honest, I felt like that was a pivotal move as well, because where I grew up, we weren't really intermingling,
Right.
with white folks.
Oh, I understand.
So when I moved out here, it was definitely a culture shock. To be honest, my entire 8th grade year at Webster, I stayed in the house. I didn't know how to intermingle, and it was different. My freshman year, when I got to Creek, you remember Julie Eckrow?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man, that is the love of my life. That's my best friend in life forever. She literally took me under her wings.
That's
Every day after school, she would come pick me up from football practice, and I would go to her house and just spend time with her sister's boyfriend, her mother. And she has no idea of literally how she was teaching me.
That's so wonderful to hear. And I got to tell you, one of the things that I remember from Clear Creek High School growing up was I loved the diversity there. I loved that we had people of all colors. I loved that we had different cultures. And I never felt, some people may feel otherwise, but I never felt intimidated by it. I never felt I had black friends, I had Hispanic friends, I had Asian friends, I had white friends, I had everything. I had country friends, I had athletic friends, I had rock and roll friends, I had goth friends, I had, and I loved that beauty of it. So I'm glad that you were able to make that transition because I'm sure it was scary. And I'll share a moment with you that I had later on in my teaching career that I'll tell you about here in just a little bit. But go on with your story
Yeah.
because it's so
And like
fast.
I said, Julie was instrumental in forming me also into the man that I am today.
Right.
Because she made it, she made it the transition somewhat seamless. I didn't go without, my issues and little bumps in the road and things like that. But we're not here to talk about that, to be honest. But Julie was so instrumental, man. I love her to death. Like she's still, my best friend, and I tell her every time I get the chance that she does not know how much she really, really, really meant
That's
to me.
beautiful. That is
Because
beautiful.
like I said, she presented me with a lot of the knowledge and a lot of things that I know, as we say, to make it on the other side of the track.
Right, right, right.
And,
Well,
um and,
it's a beautiful thing that you did that, but it's even more amazing the things that you've accomplished in your life and the man you've become. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that you're one of the most honest, hardworking, talented men I've ever met and had the pleasure of knowing in my life. You have, from high school, I believe you had a track scholarship to Stephen F. Austin.
I
Is that
did. I did.
and,
Yes,
and you also played football,
I did.
and, you were there for a couple of years, then you left and went to Austin P in
Yes,
Tennessee,
sir. Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Played football there too, along with another fellow Creek alum, I
Right.
believe played with.
Uh-huh.
Um, eh
Kelly Barry. So everybody who's probably watching this, I'm sure knows Kelly as well. You know me, you know Kelly and our little crew and Poochie and
Right,
Charles
right.
Reed and Dwayne White, and so
That's so
yeah.
good.
So
Names coming back from the past for me too. That's so awesome.
yeah,
Well, so, you get out from Austin P, and I know you were a successful athlete. But there was kind of this reality check for you, at about the age of 21, right? I mean, you kinda realized maybe professional sports wasn't gonna come calling for you,
absolutely,
fortunately, although, who knows? You never know at the time, but you probably kinda had that blink of an eye moment where you woke up and looked in
absolutely,
the mirror and said, "God has different plans for me."
absolutely, absolutely. And that was the greatest moment in my life, and at the same time the worst moment of my life, because it's like I said, it's like that bad breakup, man, when it hurts. It hurts, it hurts, it
Yeah.
hurts, and you don't know what you're gonna do, and you're left lost, and and the pain is amazing, and the confusion is overwhelming. But at the same time, you don't know when you're going through that pain that it's forging you, and it's making you into someone that you didn't know before. And
Well, at what point, and I'm jumping the shark here, I'm jumping ahead, but I know that you are an exceptionally talented musician and you have created this almost an empire in the Houston area, in the Houston rap scene. That in all transparency, also I'm not that familiar with it, but I also know and share all of your success with you because every time I see something that you've done new, I always like and subscribe and do all that
absolutely,
because it
absolutely,
because it means a lot to me because I know how hard you work. So
absolutely, absolutely.
tell me about that transition to the music area, and tell me a little bit about how that happened for you.
Well, again, we were at that fork in the road, and it was like, well, um, talents or skills. or love that you have that you can, you know, next you can jump on and you can take advantage of or you can utilize. And like we were speaking, after sports was actually my love for writing. I always loved writing. I always did exceptionally well in English. I always did exceptionally well writing stories, writing poems.
I seem
Um,
to remember you writing some poems because that was something I
mhm,
did too. I
right.
never set it to music, but I did write poems, and I seem to remember having a conversation with you in high school about that. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
seem to
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I did. You
I
showed
wouldn't
me
doubt
something.
it. I wouldn't
You
doubt it because that's definitely one of my second, probably my second love. I mean, I
yeah.
always loved writing stories. I always loved being creative,
I
and
seem to
just
remember
like it.
walking down E building and where English was. And I seem to remember walking down, and you were getting ready to probably head to the football field or something, and we were walking, and we were just talking, and you were sharing something with me. That's one of my memories from high school. Why I remember that, I don't know, but
I wouldn't
that's
doubt it. I wouldn't
something.
doubt it because I definitely took pride and really
Yeah,
loved being creative and creative writing, and I was always great at it. I always made excellent grades. I mean, Poochie used to always make fun of me. He was like, "Bro, I have never seen you make less than 100 on any English test or any spelling test. Like, how do you do it?" I was just like, I
just
never really, I never
yeah.
really studied. I never did. I mean, English always just came to me as something I was always comfortable with, and again I was always comfortable with writing. And when I was in college, I pledged in a fraternity, and I ended up writing like all the frat songs that we would chant at parties and things like that. And so next thing I know, all of the chapters in Texas, we would hit the road and go to parties in Dallas, Austin, and they're like singing my chants. I was like,
You're like,
dang.
I know that.
Yeah, I was like, I wrote it. And
Right.
so, kinda at the urging of some fraternity brothers, this is when rap music kinda was taking its, kinda getting wheels and getting motion.
Late
And
80s or early 90s.
early 90s, yeah. And they convinced me to go into this little studio in the Galleria where you would just go in and you would just cover old songs, and I went in there and just picked any instrumental and then just started writing some words to it, and that little tape kinda took off. Everybody was saying, "Man, can you make me a copy of that? Can you make me a copy of that?" So I'm starting to think like, "Okay, maybe I have something."
Maybe
At the
there's
urging
something you
at the
yeah.
at the urging of friends, and they're like, "Bro, you sound, like, really good, like, have you ever thought about, like, rapping?" And I was like, "Nah, not really." I never really thought about it. But, that tape gained a little traction and things like that, so next thing I know, I'm writing more, and I'm like, "Okay, I mean, this is easy." So Imma shoot for a record deal. And, at the time, the biggest rap label in Houston was Rap A Lot Records. Everybody knows Rap A Lot Records, and, I sent my tape up there and, got some interest, but they were really popular, but they had a lot of artists that they were had on the shelf and things like that, and I didn't wanna be shelved. So, again, the individualism in me takes over, and I'm like, "Well, I'll do it by myself. I'll just keep writing my music and do it by myself." I shot my tape around by myself. So now my goal switched to I remember having the same verve and enthusiasm and drive that I had like in football practice and basketball practice.
And now it's
Um,
transferred over to your music career.
and now I got that same drive and fortitude and like this is what I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna do this, nothing else. And I had tunnel vision. Like, okay, I'm gonna be a music artist. This is what I'm gonna be.
You mentioned that word again, tunnel vision, and I'm gonna harp on that because I think that's something that's the key to your success in everything you choose to do. You've mentioned it twice now, where you get focused on something and you have that tunnel vision that
Yes,
you're going to reach that goal. I mean,
yes,
that
yes.
I think that comes from inside that makes you successful.
Right, right. And that's one thing that I know when I feel myself getting into that mode, I instantly know that I'm gonna be successful.
Okay.
And I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's from my mother, but I know when I feel myself getting into that mode or getting to that, that point where my focus is undivided and then I know and it's like I know, like 100%,
You're
like you're
gonna
gonna
do
do
what it
this, you're gonna
takes
be
to get to
successful.
the end of
Exactly.
the road. Right.
Right, right. But you have to stay in that zone.
Right.
And,
Okay, so you're
it goes back to even it definitely goes back like to sports because I knew like in these practices that hey, like you're doing it, like you're coming around, like you're transitioning, and
well,
it's the
I what
same
I
thing.
what I love about that, I use sports analogies for everything. You know, sports is a huge part of my life and has been
Absolutely.
part of my life for a long time. I never had the athletic talent that you had. I broke my leg in seventh grade, and it kind of ruined my sports career. I could
Ouch.
almost dunk a
Uh,
basketball in seventh grade. Now I can't get my fat butt up to even touch the rim. So,
yeah, you
you
can't
know,
flip a dime under my feet now.
but I know what to do up here. I just
Right,
can't make the
right.
body do it.
Exactly,
But
exactly. This lasts longer than the body, though. This
it
lasts
does,
longer than
it
the
does,
body, so you're fine. You're fine.
it does. And of course, my wife was a collegiate tennis player, so she's oh yeah, and she's a Creek grad too, by the way.
Kudos, kudos.
2 years older than me. She was a class
Okay.
'83. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
So one of the things that talking about Krieg I loved was, whether you were a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or senior, man, I felt like we were all friends with everybody. And we had a huge school. I mean, we had 1,200 students or something in the school, 1,400. I
Right.
mean, it was a lot.
We were one of the biggest schools in the state at that time.
Yeah, maybe we even had 2 or 3,000 students. I don't even remember, but the classes were huge. But I felt like we all had we all had our close friends, but I didn't feel like there was this animosity amongst any of the groups or any of the other people. Anyway, back on track. So you're pushing forward with this individualized music career that you have at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, pick that story up from there.
And like I said again, I just went shopping my tape around. They call it shopping your demo around when you're going around different record companies, showing planting your tape, literally selling yourself with
Right.
your one shot photos and your bio and things like that. And luckily, um another popular label that the UGK was on, um, he took a liking to my music, and the next after that, it's history. I did my year or two kind of being groomed as an artist, going on the road, learning the ropes. They call it A&R, artist and repertoire, where they're kind of teaching you the ropes and kind of forming you into this music personality that you want to be. So I did that for a couple of years, and after that, 1994 April was my first project that was released, and after that, it's been good ever since then.
The rest is history. So
Yes,
so
sir.
you formed a group or a coalition, if you will, called the South Park Coalition. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't form it; it was already in existence,
Okay.
and I was actually a fan of theirs.
Okay.
Like Tom, when I was at at practice in college and through those years I was confused. These were artists that I was listening to,
Okay.
and
Okay. It was kind of
it was
something you
enough
admired from afar.
exactly. So I would listen to them before practice and things like that. And a good friend of mine, we were on the same label. His name was Point Blank, and he was affiliated with them. And the next thing I know, he's like, "Hey, I want you to go to a meeting with me." And, they had, their monthly meetings and things like that. And, because they were real big in the community. And, we did things in the community, blanket drives, food drives, and things like that. And I went and, they were like, "Hey, we want to, welcome you." And I was like, "Wow, really?" So I was literally, that was one of those kind of like epiphany moments where I was just like, wow, wow.
almost kinda
These are
awestruck a little bit, right?
right, because these were guys that I listened to before I even dreamed of becoming an artist. So this was like I was around like superstars and to me,
Right.
and they accepted me in. So that was another one of those moments. I was like, wow, I'm in the Southpaw Coalition. Like, wow.
Now, so do you do some collaborative work with them?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Now
Pretty
I know
much.
your
Well,
your stage handle is PSK-13 or
yes, sir.
okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. I
So
did some
yeah,
research. I did
there
some
we go.
research.
Tom, my man, my man. And that stands for Proud Son of Kings.
Oh,
And
I love that. No, that's awesome. Proud son of kings.
yes, sir. And the 13, I always liked that number. I would have worn it in sports, but Coach Carlisle and Coach Sills never ordered the number.
Well,
It, it,
there's
it
a
stands
you
it
know,
stands as a
it's got that stigma to it. A lot of
of
sports
course, and a
people
lot of people
people
say that,
shy
it
away from it.
it represents a transitional number to me.
Right,
There's 12 numbers on the clock, 13 will be a transition. There's 12
right.
disciples. 13
Absolutely.
would be a transition. So it was always a transitional number to me. And I always thought different and kind
That's
of
a healthy way
outside
to
of the
look at
box.
that. I think that's beautiful.
Right. And I always
I did
try to
not
think
know that
outside of the
that's
box.
what that stood for, so
Right.
you informed me something very cool. I like that a lot.
Appreciate it.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
tell me along the way because I know you as a man of faith, and it's one of the things, one of the many things that I admire about you. But even going so far as to your hat that you're wearing, to God the glory,
Definitely.
and I mean,
Definitely.
love that. And it's something that I know I strive for every day, and I know you do. Tell me the importance of faith in your life and how that's kind of molded you to the man that you are.
Well, I mean, I am nothing without faith. Um, I can remember up my family tree, it was the foundation of our being. And I've been called arrogant, I've been called cocky, I've been called aloof, but none of those words have ever hurt me because I know that it's all faith. Like you can interpret it how you want, but like I have the utmost I have the
You're
utmost
filled
faith.
with the Spirit.
Mhm.
You're
Exactly.
filled with the Spirit.
Exactly.
I, and
And they say
I
all it
sense
takes
that in
is
you. I
go ahead.
sense
Yeah.
that in you. And
Right.
and
Right.
I don't take it in any arrogance or aloofness at all. I take it in a as a confident and that it's in his hands. And and
Absolutely.
and that gives you that strength.
I'm a walking testimony, Tom. Uh,
Just
man, I
cry,
mean,
man.
I'm like,
That's beautiful.
I raised 4 kids on my own.
Yes, sir.
I was a single
You did a
dad.
great job of it too, by the way, because
Thank
they're
you.
all
Thank you.
wonderful young people.
Thank you. Thank you. I was a single dad. All my kids are very productive members of society.
Yes, sir, they are.
I have one who's a warehouse manager. I have one um who works in a warehouse that builds um nuclear parts.
Wow.
I have a son in law enforcement. My daughter's an amazing insurance saleswoman, and no one can tell me that I did that on my own.
And you're grandpa too, aren't you?
4 kids, 7 grandkids.
Oh, Lord. I
There's
only have 2. I
there's
have a 3rd on the
there's
way, but you got me beat there. I only have 2
there's
kids.
no way on God's green earth I did that by myself. That was all the man above.
Man
All
upstairs,
the man above.
he's got us
Time,
wing.
man, I've experienced some of the best times and worst times in life, and the worst times are the times that forged me and my children. They stuck with me when times were hard. They never questioned me. They never said, "Dad, why?" or "Why is this happening?" or "Why are we going through this?" They were my that was my tribe. And again, I've been through things in life that no one has ever imagined. And I'm sitting here able to talk with you about it feeling fully blessed, feeling fully full of faith, feeling fully confident that God has me.
Well, one
And
of the
there's
things
no feeling like that. There's no
that I
feeling like that.
know about you is you stand up for what you know is right. And
Absolutely.
I admire that so much about you. You know, we haven't gotten to talk as often as I'd like, as our lives have taken different paths. But I've
Absolutely.
always kept up with you through Facebook and always talked to you, and I always follow your stories of all your kids and your grandkids, and I just beam with pride because I know what a good man you've been, and you continue to be, and you do it through that faith. You do it through
Absolutely.
that faith. And
Absolutely.
so kudos to you for that, my man. I mean,
Absolutely.
that is
Absolutely.
a beautiful thing.
And that's all my mother tongue. I can remember as a child being shy, introverted, and that
Yeah, I
was
never knew
all
you
my
that way.
that was that was because of my mom. My
Yeah,
mom, like, she wasn't having that. She wasn't having, like, you're not gonna stand over there.
right.
You're not gonna stand off. You're not gonna be shy. You're gonna
You're
go
not gonna be
and
in
you're
the
gonna talk
corner.
to people.
Yeah.
You're gonna go and you're gonna get to know people. You're gonna learn people. You're gonna learn how life works. Yeah, one of the biggest things that she taught me, and that my kids live by this too, is I don't want to ever hear you say that's not fair. And
Amen.
that opens up a lot of different ways that you can perceive things.
Hmm.
You know, if it's not fair, why can't you change it? Why can't you be the voice of change? Instead of screaming it's not fair,
Right.
why can't you not necessarily make light of it, but why can't you bring it, why can't you bring it up? Why can't you speak on it?
Right.
Why can't you talk about it? Why can't you express, how you feel that something isn't
Right.
right? And so that was all my mom.
And that's so cool. I told you I would share a story with you, like you felt kind of your freshman year at Creek, where you were a little intimidated because you hadn't been around a whole lot of non African Americans, right? You had mainly been in that community, and I know my first year in teaching, I taught at a school that was 100% minority. 100%. There weren't any other Caucasians in the school. There were only, I think, 6 that were teachers, but there were no students. And the first day I walked into class, I had 35, 40 kids in the class. They're all talking, and I walk in, and I'm like, hey, let's be quiet. Let's be quiet. Calm down. Let's. And I finally got their attention. I said, I got a secret to tell you. I said, but you can't tell anybody else. Okay, I got a secret to tell you. And they're all looking at me like, who's this crazy fool? And I said, okay, shh. I said, don't tell anybody, but I'm white. And they just all cracked up. They all cracked up. And it was a beautiful thing because to me, it broke the ice. And
Right.
and from
Right.
that point forward, I said, and beyond that, guys, I don't ever want to talk about it again. I don't care. I don't care if you're green, purple, black, brown, it doesn't matter. What matters is what's in here and what's in here. And we're going to explore those things in this classroom. And that's all we're going to explore.
So you did two things there. You addressed the elephant in the room right out the door,
Right.
and you were able to laugh at yourself. And those
Absolutely.
those are two things that definitely, those are two things that I definitely try to live.
And I think that helped me. That was those kids taught me more about life than I taught them. I'm honored by the success that a lot of them have had because I saw what was inside of them. They had horrible home lives. They had bad things happen to them that I don't even want to discuss because it's just
Right.
disgusting, some of them. But
Right.
but I'm so proud of those young people because they listened, and they're smart, and they went out there and they've done great things. And I don't want to make this about me, but I definitely wanted to share that story with you because
Story's
it
awesome. I love it.
it was something that was very important to me in my life, and it took me out of my comfort zone too. I mean,
Good.
I've always
Good.
been happy being in a diverse crowd, but that was a crowd where I was the minority, you
Right.
know. And I was like, it made me realize, hey, you know what? It's not always one way or the other.
Right,
You got
right.
to be able to go with the flow.
Exactly, exactly.
I loved it.
And I'm sure that was maybe a pivotal moment in many of their lives, or that they'll never forget that moment.
And I
And
hope so. I pray that that's true. But I know
little moments like that really mean something.
it
Really means
does.
something. Right.
It does. I want you to tell our listeners and how they can get a hold of your music. How can they get it?
Well, I've been lucky enough to be distributed worldwide. Um, I'm not sure of the numbers now. I used to know it, but I don't pay attention to these numbers. I think there's only 5 countries that my music is not in, which I thought was
That is
really
so
cool. That's
golly, that's
crazy.
awesome, man. That
That's
is crazy.
crazy. And but I'm available on all platforms. Uh, Tidal, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, on any music platform, my music is available. So I've been blessed enough to be distributed worldwide. So
So do
any
they find you
platform,
under PSK-13 or South Park
sure,
Coalition?
either
PSK,
one,
either
yeah, either
one.
one. But PSK-13 will take them directly to my music, and they'll probably be more successful and be available to more, more music. Just typing in my name in any search engine.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
so
I
when
encourage all listeners that if you want to hear a very talented man and his messages, please, by all means, I'm going to put the information down here on the screen. Please contact him through any of the platforms. Get it legally through the platform so the artists get paid for. I'm a firm believer in that. I think that's
right,
an
right.
important thing. And
They could pay us better, but I'll take that. I'll take those few cents. Give it. I need it.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're all striving for that. I want to
Absolutely.
get more. I want to get more viewers on my YouTube channel through my podcast. I've got this one. I also have Sports USA talk that I do. So I'm trying to get my viewership and likes and subscribes up as
Absolutely.
well. So
Absolutely. That's
we're
the
all
goal.
striving for that same thing. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
all about the message to me. I want to
Right.
spread the word of God, and how it's affected wonderful people like you. And I can't thank you enough. JT, for talking about all these great things. If you can
Absolutely.
believe it, it's already been over 30 minutes.
Oh,
Time
wow.
flies when you're having a wonderful conversation with
Exactly.
great people.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I want you to hang on. I'm gonna wrap the show up here, and then I want to talk to you off camera for a minute. But if
Absolutely.
if you like hearing stories of overcoming challenges in life, click the like and subscribe button. I know it's down there somewhere, so click the like and subscribe button. Perhaps you have a story of your own to share: an accident, sudden loss, PTSD, alcohol, drug abuse, a natural disaster, illness, overcoming professional challenges, whatever it might be, and you'd like to share that journey of overcoming. Please contact me again at that email that I'm going to show right below for consideration for a future podcast interview. I rely on viewers like you to share their stories. Thanks again to Trading Cards Marketplace for their continued sponsorship to bring these great stories to all of us. TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Discover, connect, collect. Awaken the collector in you. I want to thank everyone out there, especially my family, our military, veterans, and first responders who put their lives on the line every day. And please don't forget our teachers and medical professionals who make all the world better, one person at a time. But most of all, thank God. Thank God for all the blessings in our world. We all need to make sure that we concentrate on those every single day. Because in this world of crazy mixed up things that happen every day, keep your focus on God and God will guide you. Until next time, carpe diem, my friends, seize the day.